Yo, what's going on guys, HyperX here, welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and in this one I want to give you an exclusive look at some Seregios gameplay. If you guys have caught some of our other videos we've uploaded recently, you will know that I had the very fortunate opportunity to go over to Capcom with Socks and basically go hands-on with a small demo of Sunbreak, or at least kind of a small sort of portion of the game, so to speak. And in that time, we basically got to run through two hunts, a multiplayer hunt against Lunagaran and a single-player hunt against Seregios, where we were accompanied by Master Arlo. That is, of course, the footage you're seeing in the background. Now, I will say, this is not the best footage, right? There's a combination of things here. I ran Hammer for this one. Hammer is, of course, a weapon that, I'm familiar with, but I haven't necessarily been using too much too frequently. Socks, of course, ran with the hunting horn, and then Capcom also very kindly provided with some additional footage that shows off the switch axe. So in this video, I want to focus much more so on just giving you a chance to see Seregios, because this is, it's been a while since we fought this monster, and honestly, it is fantastic to see it return. Seregios, of course, first introduced in 4 Ultimates, described as an elusive breed of wyvern only rarely spotted throughout the lands in recent years, and it's known for its ability to launch razor-edge scales of prey, and for its ability to stand those scales on end to strike any that threaten it. Now, I will say, in the sort of time we had playing Sunbreak, Seregios was hella aggressive. For anyone that's sort of wondering or sort of worried whether, like, all these new moves we have, it's going to make sort of the monsters like a mockery, that definitely didn't feel that the case. Admittedly, part of it might have been the fact that we were, of course, using weapons that we weren't necessarily super used to. Of course, if I ran in to fight this with, say, Sword and Shield or one of the other weapons that I am sort of more proficient with, perhaps it would have been a different story. But regardless, Seregios was definitely very aggressive, has some of the familiar moves you will recognize if you have fought this monster before. It is definitely a very aerial-focused monster, spends a lot of time sort of swooping down at you, throwing out those razor talons. Of course, bleed does make a return on this monster, so when you do get that inflicted, you can, of course, bring appropriate items to clear that out, or you can crouch down. The sort of bleed animation for this one is actually quite nice. But I think definitely one of the things that stood out to me the most. Now, obviously, keep in mind, when we were playing this demo, we didn't get a chance to sort of mess around with armor, change armor, do any upgrades or anything like that, so it's hard to say in the current time where we were playing quite sort of whether we were appropriately geared for it. Of course, we're rocking full Lunagaran gear, which looks hella cool, but at the same time, we were getting slacked. Like Seregios, I mean, this is master rank, keep in mind, so things are going to hit hard. They are going to have sort of some new moves, and we definitely found that all the time when we were hit, I was seeing like a good, 1/3, sometimes half of my life bar just disappearing, so this was not an easy feat. However, playing alongside Master Arlo was also really, really cool, seeing the fact that it's not only him, but also has his sort of Palamute as well, rocking the gun lance. That is definitely a really cool looking gun lance as well. But he is, it's just kind of one of those cool things, like seeing sort of some of these hunts where you play alongside characters that normally you'd only interact with in the town, maybe the odd cutscene. Actually being able to fight alongside them in the hunt actually feels really cool. I will say I couldn't necessarily notice sort of just how useful they were being during the hunt initially, partly because I was sort of more focused on trying not to get my butt kicked by Seregios, but you can definitely see that they do use some of the sort of moves. They're definitely sort of flying in there. I mean, he was using a nice little sort of blast dash, and of course we've seen from some of the other footage when we saw, say, Theorain using things like, Metsu Shorigeki and stuff, so they definitely do have access to those moves. They definitely are pretty proactive. But, of course, to actually get a feel for just how useful they will be, I need to spend some more time with them. Anyway, for the time being, that is pretty much it. I'll leave you with a tiny bit more gameplay, of course, in, Wyvern Ride mode, putting Seregios to the test. But I'm keeping this short for the time being, because as mentioned, I can only show you guys so much, and I still want to include a few more other things. So if you have missed some of our videos, be sure to check out one of these ones linked on screen. And, of course, keep it locked for plenty more Sunbreak content.